I'm at 1252 Harmony Lane in Fairborn, Ohio, doing a sanitary lateral inspection for the purchase of a home. We're looking for any structural issues, root intrusion, anything that may be of concern to the buyer. Our access point is an outside clean out here. Right, this is the garage wall, so you can see there is the driveway going out to the street, and right here in between these bushes here, there's a clean out here in the flower bed with all the stone. And so I'm hoping, because this is an outside clean out, it looks like I will be able to go both directions, both upstream and downstream, which is what we would like, to be able to inspect as much pipe as possible. And so this is cast iron. So first I'm going to try to go upstream and see if we can get this to. Sometimes with cast iron it makes it a little tough because it rusts, and so the line itself is rough, and so it doesn't always want to go. So we may have to mess with this a little bit to get it to go. That's what we'll try to do here. Okay, I think I got it. Maybe not. So the hardest thing is that you get like mineral deposits and stuff on the bottom of the pipe and build up from the rust and years of minerals from the water. And so I had it there and popped it back out. So sometimes this stuff works and sometimes it doesn't. I think what I'm going to try to do is go downstream first now, and then we'll run some water and stuff, but we'll try to go downstream now. This should be right where it transitions into clay, which it does. But now we have a bunch of stuff on the camera, so I'm going to have to pause. I was able to get it to go downstream. I'm going to run some water, and it'll help rinse the camera off and hopefully help the camera go upstream in a minute when we get the downstream side inspected. So again, I'm going to pause the video for a second. Okay, we got a little bit of water running. Take a minute for it to get out here, but we're hoping we can rinse the camera off because of all the stuff on the bottom of the pipe. And we're trying to get it to turn inside the clean out. Once it does this, there we go. And there we go. We have some. And in any case, we should be able to also see a lot better when we pull back. A lot of times find spots that will allow us to rinse the camera lens off and, out in the main. See a little bit better coming back also. So you can see roughly, but there's just a little bit of a haze on the front of the camera. most common thing we usually see with clay lines is root intrusion, and there is a tree sitting right on top of the path for the sewer lateral, and I really don't see anything, which is really good. I guess I may have spoke too soon there. I don't know. Let me see. This could be where we're out at the main due to the water here. It's kind of can't really see what's going on here. But I think I'm out at the main, which is why 50 feet from here would be, it does go into the manhole, and so it goes directly in the manhole, so if it was ever needed you could go backwards from the manhole, and I think that's what we have here. I just wish we could clear the lens off a little bit, because you can see as it opens here, I believe we're just going into the manhole, and so there's just not enough water to be able to rinse the camera off. I'm going to have to try to run a couple fixtures in there and increase the flow inside there. Hopefully that'll help rinse the camera off. So we're going to pause the video once again. Okay, flush the toilet, running a little bit more water. Hoping that'll do it. We just want to be able to rinse off this camera lens. There we go. And that is what this is here. As you can see, it opens up into the manhole. And then you have concrete, and we're wiring into, and that's all this is we're wiring into the concrete manhole. So it's great. We've made it all the way out to the main. And so as we pull back, we should be able to see a little better, and then we'll hope for the best as far as being able to go back inside the house and inspect the cast iron. But the clay looked really good. I'm very surprised, pleasantly surprised. I didn't see, you have some root intrusion right here, which is right at 47, 48 feet. And this was all this is the only spot I saw, right here at that joint. So structurally the line is fine, but 48 feet downstream you have one spot of roots. You should be able to take care of that with either a treatment of Root X that may help, or possibly a cleaning. It seems it is very minor, but because it is down in the flow line, usually a treatment with a chemical will burn that back and prevent it from causing an issue. But it's kind of something you would want to look into either way. There is some root intrusion because of this tree right here, even though it's way out by the main. If there was any structural issues at that point, it is out in the street, and so that would be the responsibility of the sewer department, I believe. That changes depending on what municipality you're in. But normally, if it's out in the street, it's not the responsibility of the homeowner. Now, cleaning the roots out is, but as far as if there's any structural damage and it's causing problems to the line, that it would usually be on the sewer department of the locality. But this line looks great. I mean, structurally, the line is beautiful. So that one little spot of roots at 48 feet, and it was very minimal. I mean, in most cases there were so few roots hanging on that it should be pretty easy to knock off. But I would look into either a chemical treatment like Root X, or possibly a small cleaning. Usually cleaning, though, that would be you wouldn't normally call for a cleaning with that small amount of roots, because you probably wouldn't even know unless you had the camera in there, obviously. But it is something you may have to do some maintenance on in the future. just to keep those down. And again, that chemical treatment, that Rudex, about once a year. You just basically dump it down your toilet or whatever, and before you go to bed, you run enough water to carry it out into the line, but then you don't run any water throughout the night, 8 or 10 hours. And the directions are on the bottle, but it is relatively cheap and can help maintain the sewer line for years to come. So we've made it back into the clean out. You can see in the bottom left hand corner I'm hanging vertical again. So now we're going to try to go upstream again, and hopefully we have better luck than we did the first time. Just does not want to go upstream. So what I may try to do here getting close. So a lot of times what happens is you have a little bit of when you're pushing against the flow, there's a little bit of a drop as it comes downstream, and so you're actually trying to climb up, especially the way the pipes are connected. And so I'm going to try to grab a probe and see if I can get a little bit of help angling the line to get a little bit more push on it to get it to go upstream. I'd obviously like to inspect as much of the cast iron as possible, but with lack of access, this would be the best option as far as going upstream. There's no inside clean outs or anything that I could go into that I'd be able to get my camera into to inspect it from there out. So again, I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to go get a tool to hopefully help me get further upstream. Okay, yeah, we're having definitely having some problems getting it to go upstream. Not really sure what I'm going to be able to do here. The tool I have just isn't quite long enough. So the thing is, we want to get a look at the cast iron. Cast iron is it's hard to really tell how much lifespan you have left in it, even when you do inspect it, due to the fact that it is, it does rust, and because it rusts, you're looking for functionality. You can't really tell how much life is left in it, as far as you can't tell how thick it is by looking at it, unless it's exposed. So what you're really looking for is functionality. It is a little more susceptible to backups also, but soft clogs, things like toilet paper and wet wipes. I always like to tell people to never use wet wipes, due to the fact that they are much more likely to catch on the rough edges of the rust and stuff like that, and cause soft, they call them soft clogs, because they can easily be poked loose and removed, but toilet paper and wet wipes will build up in the line and cause backup. So you just want to make sure toilet paper shouldn't. It does break down when you expose it to enough water. It usually disintegrates, and that's the whole design of it. Wet wipes will not do that, no matter what they say on them. If they say flushable or what have you, they're not. they don't break down like toilet paper. So they are a major problem in plumbing. And so I'm going to keep kind of messing with this a little bit and see if we can get it to go in there. I'd like to be able to get a look at it, but for some reason it just does not want to go. I'm sure it's just hitting one little spot where it's dropping off and just doesn't want to go. I can try one thing. I'll see if I can use a little standoff on the camera and see if we can get it to go that way. Because I'm right at the edge there where it looks like I should be able to get it in there, but it's kind of halfway making the turn, but getting caught right at the lip there. So I'm going to pause the video one more time and put a little addition onto the front of this camera and see if that helps. Okay. So one last pass here. We'll see if we can get this to work. But if this doesn't, that's kind of my last my last tool in the tool belt here, as they say. Just about at the same spot I was here, so maybe we can get, hopefully with this thing on the end it'll go, but it just does not want to go. It's catching on something right there. So yeah, all I'm doing is loosening up a bunch of stuff on the bottom of the pipe. It's not going to go upstream. So we were able to inspect the exterior line, which is where most of the problems exist. Again, cast iron. You're looking for functionality. I am flow testing, some of the fixtures right now, and that will be done during the home inspection. So the inability to get access to the interior pipe is obviously a disappointment, but what we can do, or what we do know, is that the exterior line is in great shape, and the exterior line is in great shape with the exception of those roots at 48 feet. And so we know that the line is flowing and that it is open on the inside. I just can't get myself to give up here. I keep thinking it's going to pop through. Get past that little jump and we'll be good, but I just can't see any reason why it is, so it's got to be just the roughness of the bottom of the pipe and the angle where the line is coming through that is preventing that camera from going upstream. I mean, the line looks like it's in pretty good shape from here, but you know, there's a good, you know, probably 30 to 40 feet of interior piping that we're unable to inspect. And that is just frustrating, seeing that I can get the camera to face that way, but it just will not go. And so, gonna have a bunch of dead space on this video. But the line looked good on the exterior. It is. Okay, I think I have one more. Let me. So I'm going to try one more thing. I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to see if I can make a move, and maybe I can go from another area. I may try to go from the manhole and go all the way upstream and see if that helps us at all with the angle. So I'm going to pause the video and get set up out there in the street. Okay, so we are going to go through the manhole. A little contraption that I can use to get to the bottom of the manhole. As you can see, we're going to try to go upstream, see if we can get a good look at this line past that point. So we know that we've already looked at most of the exterior, and we're not sure how far we'll be able to get here, but this was the only spot of roots here, which was at 48 feet on the way out. And then everything looked good, and so once we get, it'll probably be about 58 feet due to the extra 10 feet or so of length as we drop down into the manhole. But we'll know as soon as we get into the cast iron, into the interior, and we'll see if with a better angle if we can get at least some of the interior piping inspected. Okay, so it looks like we are going to be able to make it upstream a little bit. It's kind of hard to see, and so what we'll do is I'll push as far as I can, and then run a little bit of water, and then we'll try to take a good look at it on the way back. But again, with cast iron, you're just looking for it to be open and functioning, because you know, there are no major structural issues or anything like that. Yeah, this is where we run into problems, because if you start making turns and you're out 90 feet. In there. Yeah, I think this is going to be about it. So I'm going to pause the video here. I'm going to go check to see how far into the house I've made it, and then I'm going to try to make it a little bit easier for me to see the screen. We're out here in the street in the middle of the sun. It kind of makes it a little more difficult. But again, we're going to pause the video. I'm going to find out exactly where I am on the interior, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so we're about halfway through the house. We're in the so the line goes up through the garage and then cuts across like the kitchen area, dining room, and we're in that hallway right where all the hallways come together with the living room and the foyer. So it's about as far as we're going to be able to get, and so but we're going to take a look at everything on the way back here. Hopefully you can see
see well enough here out in the sun, but I think we can.
And it looks like the line is pretty wide open. Have a little bit of stuff there that does not look like roots, that looks like just stuff laying in the bottom of the pipe. But you can see that the line itself does have good shape to it, and that's what you're looking for. Like I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of buildup sometimes from the just the mineral deposits from the water and the rust. And so again, you can see the buildup and stuff on the side walls, and it does look nasty, but that's what cast iron looks like. And so what we're looking for again is just functionality, making sure that there's not some big broken piece of pipe and a big hole in the side of the pipe or something like that. This is all looking pretty good so far. Like I said, another big indication, or not big indication, another big thing that you usually see is like this kind of channeling at the bottom, and this doesn't look too severe. A lot of times over the years you'll find really bad channeling down through the center, and that's usually when they're starting to rust through the bottom of the pipe, but this all looks pretty good. And this is where we're back out into the clay. So we've inspected obviously all of this. So we got about 40 feet on the interior that we were able to inspect, and everything looked good. Looks like it was functioning well. It looks wide open. Now again, couldn't see the stuff back in the bathrooms, and the fixtures themselves will be flow tested to see if they're running slow or anything when they do the whole house inspection. But according to what we've seen here, the line looks really good. The only thing I found was 48 feet from the outside clean out. There was a small ball of roots there that we're actually pulling through right now. And that was the only stuff we saw, and that should be able to be cleared with a chemical treatment. It's not causing a presently it's not causing a backup, but things could catch on it, and so you do want to have it treated. Okay, so again, that was a pretty long video there for about 95 to 100 feet of pipe. And the first section, obviously, the exterior is the only place we found any issue, and that was the little bit of roots there at 48 feet, and so you want to treat that. Other than that, the line looked great structurally, so that'll end the inspection at 1252 Harmony Lane in Fairborn, Ohio.